Can you repeat it? I didn't hear all of it.
So sorry. I said, wasn't the tagging we did just for Phoenix?
Yeah, but that's the same process. But once they have that for your largest data set, which is basically, that's the reason why if we can do it in small incremental, I don't know if you guys want to go through it. Since it's 14 million records, I don't know if you really want to sit down one by one, because right now it's 1,000 a page. So let's do the math here. It's not a very good result if you do a math there. So he's trying to come up with a user interface that allows you to do a background tagging of all the data set. The smaller ones we could do it. I mean, other than FiberLit route, the fiber route, any other databases that you think you need to tag? Because I'm going through it. The LTLA doesn't have a whole lot of information that allows you to tag it in the sense that what you guys want to separate it out. Is there another category of data set that you guys want to do the same thing as the fiber route? Which kind of is my whole question.
I think fiber with buildings will also need, right, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, for the points, Peter, what difference does it help with the points being tagged? Because they seem to be
like, for example, if you want to only group them by state and customers wanted to look at states, that's where you set up in the project like I did last week and show you guys. You can actually discreetly kind of only allow him to look at data set that maybe is New Mexico, or for maybe even down to the city. I don't know which data set would you even want to bring that to such a narrow focus. So that's the reason why I'm asking which data set in your mind would require you to be that focused on like state, maybe city, or even kind of out like cable operating area, or not a CBSA, is that right? Am I on the right track in that data schema?
Yeah, I think, we'll definitely want to do the fiber buildings after the fiber routes are completed. And from there, probably cell towers and, prioritization of each of the layers.
Right. So in the end, there's only a few data set that requires that level of tagging, right? I mean, cell tower, definitely. What about data center?
Yep.
Yeah, so that one.
Yeah, definitely data centers without a doubt.
Yeah, so there are different kind of attribute that allows you to tag, and which kind of leads me to the other few data set that you have outlined there, like the cable operating. There's not a whole lot of other than primary, which is basically the carrier, right? Yep. Am I right saying that? And beyond that, you don't really have much of any kind of category in that LTLA. I mean, the cable operating area that you can actually tag and break it down so that they only see certain things.
No, that makes sense, definitely.
Yeah.
And I mean, we don't need it probably in the other layers as much either. It's just, what other benefits do you get from tagging then? I like the fact that you're able to break it out by geographies. Probably, I mean, is that probably some of the best methods, is breaking out by the attributes?
Yes, definitely. But yeah, also working on, I mean, if you want down by road, you can actually go by one of the category is the geospatial, view. Remember when I showed to you that one of the categories is not just attribute, you can actually show by line of sight or the area within the view, and etc. It keeps going on and on. So in the end, you can actually create even set category within a tagging itself, where you only pull out within this tag of view, within this view, only bring me this latitude or this longitude area of all these different, and you put yourself a special tag, maybe just for maybe a short span of time where your customer wants to look only with that view. You can actually create a special project that only has that tag. So you give it a special name that only has that view and that customer. So you create almost like a special label tag, like say maybe customer 12345 underscore or something, viewing maybe Denver outskirts somewhere.
And And are they done building the platform in which we can tag in?
Not the large data set, only the small ones. That's why we could do it for the Phoenix, because there's only like maybe 4,000 lines or maybe less than that, compared to the number of records in like, let's say here, your cell tower.
Okay.
I want to look at, it's 45,000, no, 459,310 records. So at the current user interface, you can only bring out 1,000 per page. So it's not very attractive to be sitting there going through one by one. Yeah, exactly. So
Do you have an ETA on when we'll be able to do the big data set?
Say again?
Do you have the ETA on when we can do the big data set?
They're working on it. I think it's called on the roadmap. They call it the data lab. Essentially, what they're trying to do is when you set it up, you just create a tag and let it run it in the background, not have to do it in front of you. It's the number of records they have to bring up for the interface that's right now holding everybody back. Because you guys have so much vector data, they've never anticipated that they have to tag for that much data. So they have to kind of create some sort of, like, according to them, it's like a buffer that even though you say, bring me this category of state is easy. It's not a big deal. Well, I shouldn't say that. Even I shouldn't say that, because even in the state, there'll be 100 cell tower that basically is like maybe 100,000, 200,000. It still doesn't allow you to do page by page. I mean, just not productive enough for you to kind of grind it out. In the end, I mean, we can do it. I mean, sure, brute force. It's going to take you maybe a week, 2 weeks, because the category right now, you have to create one page, remember the index page, and keep going and going and going and going until you hit the end. And that's very hard to keep track. And even I don't know the extent of how many pages will it go for the math behind it. So that's the reason why I think I don't know the ETA on that, because if you look at the roadmap, I think it's on the things to do, but they haven't given me an estimate. You want to kind of make them move it up the so-called, it's not a priority for them in that sense that it's a paid project. It's more like a nice to have, I think.
Yeah, I think Dave wants it to be like the next priority once we finish, because I know the multi-polygons, I think you said they were fixed, Kevin, but
they were, yeah, that's why I wanted you guys to test it, but actually brought out a very interesting problems right now. The cable operating area is more like a nationwide. Am I correct?
Yep.
yeah.
And because of that, when you zoom in, it's trying to detect all the entities or all the objects within that particular area. And if one object is within the peripheral vision of your viewer, it's trying to bring everything up. And because it's so far away, it doesn't really understand how to display it. You know what I mean? And that's very hard for them to kind of say, wow, if it's like 3,000 miles away from your view, how do we bring it into focus, kind of thing. So I think they're trying to come up with a schema to fix that issue.
Okay. Yeah, because I think Eric did some testing and he found out that I think it was cable operating areas and like the LADAs and area codes, they still weren't fixed, but the priority was just getting the carrier fiber routes fixed. And I think Eric said that those were working.
Yeah, those are easy because I think they were lines within your bounding box, or they call it your vision line. And cable operating just happened to be some sort of weird thing where actually it causes it to not understand, how do I display something so large and so expansive compared to if I were just to do a small area and only, and on top of that, the cable operating area doesn't have a small attribute in which we can latch onto. They only have a primary and secondary, and that's the only kind of attributes related to it. Other than that, I mean, it's very hard to tag something primary, secondary, because now you only have provider, nothing else.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless you guys decide to break it up, then it's much easier for us to break it up into smaller pieces. Then whatever you show within that view, we will able to bring it up. I mean, tell me if there's a better way of breaking it up. I don't know. Maybe that's a question for Eric, I guess.
Yeah, he actually has to hop on a call.
Okay.
Should we add the multi-polygons to this Excel sheet though? So it's just like on their radar. I don't know if they.
Yeah, it's right there. Support
Okay.
the multi-polygon, polyline.
Okay, polylines. I wasn't sure if it was the same as polygons.
Yeah, polygon. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So they're still working on the tagging feature for the entire
Large
United
data set. Yeah, mainly for the large data set, not for the needed small sets. I mean, the small ones I can do it immediately, and even then, I'm not sure how to tag it because you don't care about cable operating system having tag because it's only primary and secondary, and all you do is just bring it up.
Right, I guess. Yeah, that's right. Is the tagging thing on this Excel sheet as well?
I don't see it. I don't see it here, and I don't know if I thought that I got an email from Alex when we talked about a meeting to discuss data and tagging. That Alex was like, "Hey, that's not a NextSpace. Like, we don't need to do." Like, I thought that they didn't need to do any more engineering. It was just really up to Peter and GeoTel. But it sounds to me like we still have dependencies on NextSpace. So
is it Alex E or Alex L?
Alex E that wrote
he doesn't
emails I got over the weekend, right?
No, he's not cluing on the engineering part, so he doesn't understand the full extent of the issue.
Okay, so we should add this.
Yeah.
We should add, what should we say? Let's just add it here because Alex is going to see it.
Tagging interface for large data set.
Okay, is this roadmap or customer?
It's more like a fix.
Well, so is it support?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think the priority might be high.
What'd you say? What?
I think the priority is like high, I believe.
Yeah. I'm gonna add it all in here. Okay, so this should be tagging. How should I describe this, Peter?
Tagging of entities for the data lab.
Okay. So not available. We don't need a bookmark for this.
Yeah.
And description of issue is what? Let's describe it.
All the carriers are not all listed carriers are not appearing on a data set, I guess, on carrier fiber routes or
a view, or you mean a view, right? Or
Valerie, what are you referring to when you say all carriers not appearing?
Oh wait, I think I'm getting my things crossed. Eric was saying that was still an issue we were having with fiber routes, that when you click on one, it just shows one carrier and you don't see like all of them pop up, and we're supposed to. This specifically the tagging is about is so we can have all the carriers broken out by color in each region.
right, and that's what Alex E said. Oh, Peter can do that. That was
but I think I got it from Dave that he didn't want that.
He didn't want all the carriers?
Yeah, for the carrier, and he kind of explained to me essentially what he want when I did it before, that when you zoom in, he wants to be able to only show the carriers on the left-hand side menu like we do in Phoenix. Remember?
Yeah. He wants it like Phoenix, but all over the United States. And he wants you to be able to click on them and click them off to see the colors and have them blue when they're not clicked on.
Yeah, that's the reason why I did the first demo when it was all blue. And when you zoom in, the color comes in. But the thing
he doesn't want the color to automatically populate. He wants you to have to click it on and click it off.
That means you have to do the same for like we did in Phoenix.
Right. But I thought you said that NextSpace was building a platform, like in addition to the app, to where it would make it easier for us to do it all at once instead of doing it manually.
No, that's a tagging thing. It's different from the display. Okay, I'll step back a little bit. Tagging allows you to create custom color for each carrier. in the
Right.
database itself. So when it's similar to what you have in Phoenix database, what you do is you hit the checkbox, then anything in the checkbox that shows AT&T will all light up. You
Right.
don't do it for, because then you can see it for whatever area you're looking at. And it's not a nationwide, because a nationwide is such a huge data set. If you want everything to light up that way, I don't think it's possible, because that means there's a huge amount of data set being forced through and showing up at one time.
No, I mean, at a certain elevation, right?
Yeah, you have to change your elevation. Now that causes you to go sideways again now, because you can only change color, because he wanted to show that when you overlook the whole country, only the blue shows up. So
Yeah.
now you create another layer on top of another layer. So in other words, in your subcategory of the carrier, you got to create two more now. One blue that takes care of when you zoom up and nothing shows, but you zoom in, the color shows up. So
No,
there's a conflict there.
we don't want
You
the
see the conflict
color
there?
there until you click it.
And
Like
that
that.
only shows up the color.
What?
That only shows the color of the carrier, not the blue.
Right, but it's blue before you click it.
You can't do that, because then there's two colors showing up at the same time. How do you resolve that? You see the problem right now? Because initially it will be blue, but when you turn it on, some color has to come before that, or some has to take over. So which one is it?
I spoke with Dave this morning about that a little bit more to clarify what the emails were going back and forth over the weekend. So it's going to be two entries. It's kind of what we had before, where you had the blue for the fiber outs, just fiber outs. Blue period will always be its own layer, and then the secondary one, like how we had fiber outs labeled, that will be like, not I'll say carrier locator, but that's where it would be like, you know, carrier select or something like that. Then it opens up the accordion of the colors.
Correct. Yeah. So that's why I was a little confused when Valerie said that she wants to replace the color, which is kind of in conflict with what initially it was, because two colors can't occupy the same space. Someone has to give up some space.
No, understood.
Yeah.
Oh, and
I hope that's
Valerie,
clear, Valerie. I'm not trying to confuse things. I hope that makes sense.
No, it's okay. I don't think I was explaining it correctly again.
So do we need to even put this tagging of entities for Data Lab in here as a support thing, or is there in fact something that Nextbase needs to engineer on this?
Okay. Based on the discussion with Alex L and Matt V, essentially, Alex E is not on the conversation at all. He never was.
Okay.
Because of the large amount of data set that is existing right now for GeoTel, the ability to tag all the data set is not optimized. So Alex L and Matt V has to come out a workflow in the data lab that allows you to tag large data set efficiently. I hope that makes sense.
So to tag large data sets initially.
Efficiently. Yeah.
Okay. Or efficient. Is that efficiently?
Not initially. Efficiently. Yeah.
And this should be a high priority support issue, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm making it high priority.
Yeah.
And it has been started? Has it started already? Yeah.
It has started, but it hasn't even come close to finishing, because I think they just got taken off the project. So you just have to push it back onto the top of the queue again.
Okay. And then this started, when did we submit this? April, like 5th? Was it like a couple days ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Guys,
So now today, Alex E is going to see this. Okay.
Yes.
And so we need to, when you guys have your meeting, Eric, this is what Alex E is going to bring up, this stuff. So,
okay.
You know, this tagging, he's going to go down this list. So you need to, you know.
Yeah, you need to bring that up to his attention so that he can actually.
It's a high priority. Maybe we create this as a, like a red text or something so he sees it.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, I think Alex E is the one that's supposed to remind Alex L on all these things. Alex L could be working on it. Then they hired another engineer last week that Peter's working with. So, just playing traffic cop to get all this stuff done. But ultimately what we want is a line through all this stuff, right? Like the customer issue with Ericsson is like, that's like, we think it's basically the firewall back in, Sweden. Right? It's got nothing to do with anything we're doing. It's got something to do with the cloud.
That's what they found out when they did the diagnostic, when they ran through the diagnostics I sent.
Well, is Alex going to report on that to you? Is he going to basically, are they going to tell you that they did some additional, I mean, this is just Peter and I noodling it. We were just like going, what do you think? We've seen this before. We've seen this before. So I don't know. I mean, that's a really good point. I mean, if Nextbase has said they're going to do something about it, and it looks like Alex completely documented it. So let him answer. I don't want to answer for him.
Okay. Yeah. He told me that, he thinks that since it's in Sweden, it might not be communicating with the US API or something. So he had me run a bunch of diagnostics tests with the client. And I copied the link addresses to the tests I ran and sent some screenshots. And I did that on Friday, and I haven't heard back from him. But I think hopefully we'll cover it in the call.
Yeah, I think he'll cover everything here. So, okay, is there anything else you guys want to add to this? Peter, was there anything else that you thought we needed to add from what happened?
Not that I know of. I mean, the only thing outstanding was the multi-polygon fix that I was hoping you guys would able to test it and the feedback. Is it all good, or is there still something lacking?
Yeah, polylines are looking good, but the polygons, the multi-polygons, it's still the same with the area codes and LADA. But real quick, I think Valerie was explaining it earlier, and let me jump. Can you guys give me the presenter real quick so I can show you something? I want to ask to see if I'm not doing this right or I'm just not seeing it right.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you saw that I tried to do some testing this weekend, but your boss spanked me. So
Why?
he just like, I want to do all this other stuff. I'm like, I just turned the damn stuff on. I'm just telling you if it works or not.
Yeah.
All right, can you guys see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so this fiber segment right here, I'm going to click onto it. And it's going to tell me lumens is right there. And then I deselect it, I'll clear it, and then I go in to select this. Same one. I have Lumen, Spectrum, Windstream, Zayo, AT&T. So I have like 8 different ones in this fiber segment right here. But when I just go and click onto it, it only shows me the lumens is there. Is there any way when you're identifying, I can see all the records that are underneath it without having to do a straight up selection where I could just identify it and it shows me?
You mean everything that's Loomis?
No, just, okay, so I'm just hitting it right here. So basically all I'm doing is hitting this segment right here.
Yeah.
And so I'm showing there's 6 in there, but if I turn all that off and I just click onto it, it's just showing me lumen there, not the other 6 that are under.
Did you push more?
You suck.
What?
Okay, no, it's not there. Okay, Kevin, I'm like, it can't be that easy. Okay, good.
So, yeah, I'm just wondering if it goes into more. All that stuff does, right?
No. Oh, I know why. Because okay, I'll show. This is okay. You want everything in that record, right? You don't immediately when you turn it on. Is that what you say?
It's Peter. I just want the easiest. When I click onto it, just to ID this particular segment, I just want to see all the carriers that are at that segment. I don't want to care how much fiber they have everywhere else. I just want to know between these 2 streets who's all on it when I click on it.
Unfortunately, that's a single record.
Mm-hmm.
That's a single record, and it has no. Then you got to do the relational thing where you do that.
We can do that. Yeah. See, he just wants to see all the attributes for that entity.
It's not even attributes. I just want to see all the carriers in this segment.
Yeah, yeah.
easily
Well,
without-
I call the attributes the carrier names.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't. That should be. Yeah. That shouldn't be a big problem.
Okay.
Do we
So
know?
that's the
I mean, you see that, Peter?
Yeah, there's one record. I know. I understand. Yeah.
But
sorry, guys.
how come it's able to bring up all those other records the other way?
Oh, because it's doing a group select. It's not doing a single select. See, that's a yeah. Essentially, is yeah. So I really I probably have to talk to Matt V about it and see how we can do that. Where you just show all the carriers, right?
Yep. I don't even need to see them on the. I don't even need to see the actual fiber route highlighter or anything. I just want to know when I click onto that particular one. Simply, I just see all the carriers are underneath that.
Is there more than one record of it? Like that's part I'm a little bit baffled now.
Yeah. So let me do it again. So this particular one, if I just click onto it, it's just information. Come on.
Yeah, if you click on the data point, the blue little with the alphanumerical number, you see it? No, to the right hand side. Keep going up to your right. Keep going up to your right. You're right. No, down a little bit under fiber route. Yeah, click on that one. Yeah, just brings me to single record. And the problem with that is when you click on that, it brings up the record related to it. And you scroll down, there's no other carrier other than Lumen. That's the reason why I'm trying to figure out how am I going to bring up all the carrier under that line. Because
Gotcha.
there's only one user carrier under that record. And that's why I'm a little confused. So how do we do a relational search when that one record only brings up one carrier? Is there an overlap there somewhere?
I'm sorry, Peter.
Is there an overlap within that fiber line? Is there more than one carrier?
Yeah, there's 6 other carriers in that fiber line. So that's lumens there, and then we select the rest real quick. And
Yeah,
you'll
but
see.
it's highlighting everything else. See, it's not just that one line.
It looks like it's grabbing a whole bunch of other lines. See that gold line?
That's why I'm
that's
saying
popping
that
up
it's not
here?
just one record.
It's like
Okay, let me just. Then I'll be a little bit more tactical or strategical and get in here. Let me
just
zoom
try
a
to
little.
grab only that. Yeah, there you go. And there's
So it's grabbing everything in that line.
it's still
So
grabbing. It's still
record.
grabbing this stuff.
Yeah. So if you don't, you turn this off, turn that this selection off, and just click on one line on that line that you think. See, that's the extent of the line of that fiber line. So that's why I'm saying there's no overlapping line. That's why I'm a little confused. How is the record arranged? When you say that there's more than one, if there's more than one, shouldn't there be multiple carriers rather than one?
So
This is
maybe
multiple lines. Yeah.
so maybe that display is not really talking about those carriers on Broadway. It's talking about all the surrounding carriers.
Correct.
You see what I mean, Eric? It may not be. In other words, there might not be 6 carriers on Broadway.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
We don't know. I don't know.
The entities that you click on essentially is one-to-one relationship for each data set. But if you're saying that there's a bounding area of like 6 carriers for one, because I can kind of bring it up in QGIS and I can show you exactly how the data came in. Because yeah, you can show me your data set.
You can show us too. Do these carriers share the same line?
Yeah, that's the thing. We're gonna have there's gonna be a lot of instances, especially downtowns. You're gonna have multiple carriers all within the same conduit
they're all sharing the same network, right?
Right. If that's the case, shouldn't there be like 1 primary, 2 primary, 3 primary, 4 primary, rather than 1 record for 1 line? That's the reason why I'm a little confused.
Well, every carrier has its own record. So you're going to see if there's 6 lines underneath there, we need to see that there's 6 carriers on that conduit.
Correct. No, I agree. I totally agree. And that's the reason why I'm asking about if there is more than 1 carrier, shouldn't that be
How come the GIS data doesn't reflect that?
That's what I'm looking at right now. Give me 1 second, I'll bring it up. All right.
What area is this you're looking at?
San Antonio.
San Antonio? Okay. Let me see. I can go to San Antonio on the data set.
Let's go have a margarita on the Riverwalk.
And Texas.
All right, guys. I'm going to share my. Let me bring this over here so you can see it. Can you guys see that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me clear it. So this particular one right here. Let me go in. We have this street, Broadway, has 7, 8 of them on there. So if I hit Windstream, you'll see Windstream's just right there. If I hit Cogent, then now you see Cogent comes right past Broadway, but it goes a little differently, but it's on Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
Grande coming north. So every one of these have a line that's on Broadway.
Yes,
Okay.
they all share Broadway, but then they tentacle out into different directions.
Yeah, of course they exactly. But it's just they all are on these streets, and when I have a client sit on Broadway, they want to know because maybe they have this little dark parcel right there. They have a location. They want to know every one of those carriers in front of them.
Right. So I guess there's 2 ways to do this. You could either look at the GIS data going in, or you can use the relational functionality with it because it's in there, obviously, because you located it. You showed it to us. So it's all loaded in there. But it's loaded in, it might not be loaded the right way.
Oh, absolutely it does not, because I'm looking at the records right now. It's a one-to-one relationship for the polylines.
Yeah.
It's not one-to-many relationship, unfortunately. So that's why I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to bring it in.
You're going to have
change
to
data structure. Because right now, if there are so many different polylines right now.
Yep.
This is even the problem with how you export it out, because if one polyline contains multiple different attributes, carrier, and each record is like one-to-many, one physical attribute, then multiple records. Am I on the right track there, Eric?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, each of these carriers have their unique network, and some of them are going to overlap and some of them won't. And we just need to be able to show where they do overlap so our clients can see, okay, these are the choices I have to work with in front of my location.
I think the way this data should be organized is this whole network should have nodes. Every network should be made up of nodes, and those nodes should be made up of all kinds of stuff, multiple carriers, locations, whatever. But all those multiple carriers go onto each node. Because now what we're looking at is it's a little arbitrary, right? It's not really accurate because now in ArcGIS it is, because the data was probably organized in ArcGIS. But I don't think the data was organized in Bruce the same way it was organized in ArcGIS.
No, it does not.
So
Absolutely does not.
So you have to either change all the files and bring them all in again, or go in and make a relationship with all that information, right? Like based on spatial information. So those network nodes carry information. They carry carriers. They have carriers. So the node is an entity, and the node has a bunch of carriers.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it works. And everything's a node. Everything's got to be a node. Now a node is frickin' 3 miles, right? 9 miles. It could be anything. They're not all like there. That to me like is a node. Like you just clicked it, like where it has an end. They each have an endpoint, but it does splinter off into other directions. The line does.
Yeah.
But each one of those, that's what we need to figure out, is how to break all this up into nodes. Am I on the right track, Peter?
I don't know what you're referring to nodes. I don't understand the nodes.
I'm just saying if a node is an entity, doesn't Bruce do everything by entities, right?
Yeah.
So it looks at information. So if it looks at that, if it looks at a piece of fiber line area as an entity, then it has a bunch of information in it.
Right.
Right now, what we're doing is we have a bunch of fiber lines, and they have some information in it. They don't have all the information.
Well, I can show you what the result is, because I think based on what the KML generates, I think this is the result of what causes the problem here. Okay, I can show you the screen here. And I think this might be a big issue coming out. I don't know, even Bruce took care of it at all. So as you can see, this is, what state is this? This is like typical Delaware. Yeah, is it Delaware? Yeah, Delaware. It's a simple thing, right? It should be easy to figure out. And each fiber line contains only one. Even though I think in the database itself, I'm looking at the QGIS thing, everything is framed on top of each other. So I think that happens when the export gets kicked out. It overlaps each other. Oh, that's a problem now. That's a problem, because that means the overlap is causing it to go sideways on this. So let me see, where's the Delaware? Come on. So it's a data structure issue. Gosh darn it, how are we going to do this now? Well, we have to seek the advice of how these guys work their backend database. I don't know, is it possible, or they have to come up with a methodology in how to deal with this? Okay, probably that's a point of discussion on the next call coming out at 1 o'clock. Just bring it up, because I think it's a little beyond what I can understand right now. I don't even know if I can break it down in the import process. You know what I mean?
Okay. Are you guys going to be on the call at 1?
I think it's you guys, right? You guys should bring it up then.
Oh, definitely. But I was wondering if you guys were on. So it just kind of helps her, like, hey, we walked through it with Peter a little bit, and this is, some of the results we were seeing, yeah, something like that. So it doesn't look like we were just kind of cold calling it.
No. It's something you should. It's part of your data source and how you want to display it. It's nothing to do with us anyway, because you need it as part of your requirement for you. So it's all up to them whether they understand exactly what you're trying to say here.
Okay. Sounds
I
good.
hope that makes sense. I'm not trying to be flippant about it, but I guess for me, it's more like, okay, does that mean it works or it doesn't work?
I think this is
an example of what we're doing.
Yeah, I think this is an issue for Mark. I think Mark Thomas needs to look at this. The reason why is because he has or Alex L. But Alex E won't be able to answer it.
Yeah, he probably can't understand. He doesn't even understand what it means.
Yeah, but I think that we need to look at the guts of Bruce and how to organize the data. Again, this is part of this overall data plan that we are, kind of building on the fly. This is, clearly when it was, when the data runs in ArcGIS, it's just organized for ArcGIS. It's not organized for the 3D visualization. So we have to figure out a way to either relate the data, create data relationship. Maybe the tagging will be the solution. Maybe Mark will say, hey, we can do it with all this different tagging. Or we have to do it, look at the data and just organize it a different way before it goes in. But I think
here's an example. You see it here. There's only one line and one information dot. Here is the one it actually is. So there's 3 carriers or 4 carriers under one line here. And the KML does not allow you to do overlap. And maybe KML is a bad way of bringing the data in. It's just I think it's just a bad import file format. Because I can't find anything else along way. See, there's nothing else. There's no Maryland. See, there's nothing there. That's why I'm saying that KML might be a bad way import file format to bring it in.
Are there other formats?
Yeah, GeoJSON.
Oh, GeoJSON, right.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, this has come out right now rather than later. I hope glad we came out. Okay.
I think in the interim, Eric, I think you probably got to do is you got to give the client the workaround. I hate to say it, but you probably got to say, look, there's an arrow there that gives you the full carrier coverage. Go click that arrow. I don't know.
That's what I've been that's exactly what I've been doing, but I keep getting those little questions. Can't we just ID it right on top and see who it is?
Yeah, well, I totally agree. I mean, we got to go back into engineering now and figure it out. I mean, it's just, I see a lot of work here, but I totally see where the customer has to have this information. So, I mean, even if they just have a workaround now so they can make sure they can see it, it's at least a start. And then we can fix it, because it's not like Esri software where they tell you they're going to have an update in, August. We can fix this thing quickly, but your customers need to see this data now. And I can understand how they want to see the multiple carriers, because I use your data for that. I want to see who all the carriers are. So, and it's interesting because you bring up a point, because I was clicking through fiber lines and I was getting, oh, there's AT&T here. You saw when I printed up those screenshots to you, I go, oh, AT&T's the carrier here, and Viacom or somebody else was the carrier there. And David was like, no, there's multiple people sharing that.
Yeah, I looked at this.
It's not just that name. There's a bunch of names on there.
Yep.
So that's why David reacted and is like, no, that's wrong. I'm like, well, that's what I see, right? Like visually it's popping up. So when I click it, that's the information I'm getting.
Yeah, this one you have to bring it up during a call with Alex L. I think he's supposed to be on the call too. You don't know whether during the input process that KML is the file format to go to. If not, I mean, I probably have to look at a KML file and see if they even have multiple records for one geometry.
Yeah.
One to many.
Did you say you'd be on the call too or no?
I wasn't on a call. I think I'm not invited to the call. Only you.
Oh, I thought he invited you guys.
I thought it was Alex EU who set it up. Was it him?
Right. Yeah.
Well, let's whatever. We'll be on the call. I mean, we have to be on the call because I'll get on the same page here anyway. So we got to figure out what to do. And Alex needs to know this. So I see your point. So,
forward it to you guys now.
huh?
I can forward this to you now, the call, so you have it on your calendars.
The invite? Yeah, please do.
Okay. And then Peter was the other, I think Eric needs to hop on a call. But were we gonna discuss how to tag for Baltimore, or were we doing that today?
I thought I showed you on Friday.
Eric, do you know how to tag the data sets once you upload them? Because I know how to tag them for the color.
Oh, good question. Do I still have presenter rights or no? I don't think so.
Do you have to hop on the call, Eric?
Not yet. I'm looking
right
at 4:30 to see if you can.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you have to get off by 4 because we have a very important call at 4.
Got it. I just want to show them what's happening here.
Okay.
Let's see. So what I was doing, back to
4.
entities.
4. Okay.
So now I was loading the KMLs that you and I were speaking back on Friday for Florida for the fiber lit building.
Bring it up. Yeah.
Is it new or import?
Import.
Okay, good. So I went ahead and did that, and I dropped the KML KMZs in here.
Okay.
And it actually goes fairly quick. I'll do the routes real quick and go through. But after that, it kind of, do I have to do anything after I've loaded it?
After you loaded it. Yeah, remember the step where you're supposed to name the file?
Gotcha. Okay, I do that.
You did that, and it should go to the next stage called update. Did you get to that stage?
Yes. Then I didn't know what to do at that point.
Did you finish updating? They say finish update. Did you finish that?
I don't think so. I'll verify again. So let's see. It's 31 megs for the fiber outs and 51 megs for the FLBs. And you see how quickly the fiber outs are doing. It's the second parts of the process that it slows way down.
Yes, that's the slow part where they convert the file to Bruce database backend.
It looked like it took about a little less than an hour for it to go in, so I was pleasantly surprised. It was actually quicker than I thought it was going to. Now,
yeah, okay, they might have speeded up. Yeah, they probably have a lot of fixes that finally get out. Okay, this is the part that you probably figure out.
And then it comes to, oh, that's right. I got to results summary. It says success in green, but then it said 0 entities loaded.
That means nothing got processed. Which is not a good. Okay, let me see what we can do here. This one should be pretty. That's a bad sign.
That's not good.
Ooh.
I got the forwarded invite. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Oh, Jesus.
Was it raining down there today, Eric?
It rained really bad yesterday. I had like a really big lightning strike outside my house and like knocked down some big tree branches.
Yeah. Because my friend told me that they postponed a baseball game.
Yeah, yesterday I was on the golf course, and it was probably the few times I felt like my entire guts were out there as I was running away. It was not pleasant. We were out in the middle of nowhere, the only ones out there, and you saw the lightning in front of us, and it crackled behind us, and we both had our drivers in our hands. I'm like, this is it. So, yeah.
I think what you had in your hand was called a lightning rod.
Exactly. And the funny thing is, I'm not from here, so I'm not too sensitive to the lightning, but my buddy is from here. The boy was losing it. So he's like, we need to move and get off of the course. So, and I'm like, we can do one more hole. Well, anyway, yeah, not smart.
Jeez.
You're a hardcore, man, Eric. I didn't know that.
I'm going to play in the rain, man. I'm just now starting to hit good contact, damn it. No.
It's like Caddyshack.
You got it. So, Peter, you said that's not a good thing with the 0 objects showing up in the success file.
That's yeah.
Okay, I'll try it again.
I'm looking at a screen. Did it not go through? Oh, it's still working. Please wait. Oh, okay.
And what I'll do.
Okay, there we go. So you click on the checkbox. And you hit that plus sign. Oh, the name's already in there. Did you create a name for it? You got to create a name for it. Click on that plus sign. There we go. Yeah, just remove what XF double count on the right hand side. And yeah, same thing at the bottom. And hit save.
And this will help Val and I set up the Florida project, right?
Yeah, and hit continue. Okay. And hit continue.
Oh, I don't. It's a
no, yeah. It's a brand new one.
Right. So I don't put add.
No, you don't add because this doesn't exist yet. Remember?
I felt as though I'm adding it to the data. Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah. This is separate from your master. So yeah, you shouldn't mix it with your master. Otherwise, you're gonna replace records that you already have. Yeah.
Oh, boom! Big sense. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So
okay,
this is the one that's going to take a while, unfortunately.
Okay. I just want to make sure that Val and I both see it, so we know kind of what we're doing, what to expect when we do it. So okay, cool.
I thought you recorded it on Friday. Oh, you didn't, guys. You didn't record it.
I think we did. I wasn't sure if there was another.
Yeah. Okay.
I need to check to
So
see if
yeah, this is going to take a while. So yeah, looks like we have to fix the fiber route, which kind of leads me to, oh boy, we have to reload the data set again. Ouch.
I don't have the recording, so I can't record properly.
That's not a good sign. Have to
What, for
upload
older
it.
fiber routes?
Yeah, because if looks like it didn't get in on the right way, or KML is not the optimum file format to bring in it, because it doesn't allow you to have one geometry, multiple records. Otherwise, it would have taken care of it. But at the same time, I might be wrong. The best advice is ask Alex L on the call and say, we have record one geometry, multiple records. And I think he'll know exactly what you're talking about. Alex E probably doesn't understand what he means. So that's the reason why I'm hoping Alex L is on the call.
Geometry, I'm sorry, multiple geometry.
Single geometry, multiple records.
Yeah.
Gotcha, single geometry, multiple records.
My prediction is Mark's going to have a workaround, but
that means we still have to import it. It doesn't matter if it's a workaround. We just have to use it.
Might be better just to change the data and bring it in differently. That's my point.
Yeah. Well, that's the prediction that's going to happen.
What probably makes sense to do that with the data anyway to make it more valuable down the road. So,
but now that's a tricky question then, Eric. If that's the case, when you replace the record, don't you have to replace the geometry with the multiple records too? Because it's one too many.
Huh. Because you could have multiple records for a carrier's fiber route.
Exactly.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And that's all of our database is, though. I mean.
Yeah. That's why you made me realize that.
Shit.
Well, let's tackle the short-term problem and let's deal with it when we need to update it. Let's come to that crossroad when we need it. Because maybe by the time the data structure might be completely different, who knows? But let's get the first iteration out the door first. I just want to get that successful so your customer have access to it. Let's solve the problem for today. Yeah, let's deal with that when it comes to that. Because my head might explode the next minute when you try to go to the next level.
Yeah, I'm going to put all this in here. So this is something that Dave brought up over the weekend, right? This was what he brought up over the weekend. Okay.
This data set?
Yeah. No, not this data set. This is the issue. I'm just typing in. See, I'm adding another support issue.
Gotcha.
You see that one fiber line has. Okay, good. All right.
And that's the single geometry, multiple records, right? That you guys were referring to.
One fiber line has multiple records.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
So one way or the other, we'll have to deal with it. Well, there goes my trip to Hawaii.
Kevin's going to Maui. Maui.
Can I fix all your multiple records from Maui?
Sure can.
You can remote from anywhere, Kevin.
That's right. Oh, God.
Just make sure that you get up at 5 a.m. in the morning to do the call at 9 a.m. our time.
You got that right.
That'll really be tough on New Zealand.
Yeah. And I'm trying to do JSON just to see if there's any difference between a KML and a KMZ load. Just real quick and see if it's quicker or not. Ooh, 1%. Flying.
Yeah. So maybe is there any QGIS that allows us to do multiple records into one?
I think you could do batch.
No. What I mean is one of the export. Yeah. When you export it, does it allow you to let you know is multiple records to one, rather than one single record and one geometry and one record? Because right now I'm looking at the KML file output is 1-to-1.
Yeah, we'd have to code it. That's the only way we'd be able to do it that way. The KML's 1-to-1. Shit.
Yeah, I think so. Let me check. Is there an option export one-to-many? QGIS, export. Won't see it. Not many people understand what it means. No understand.
All right, guys, I'm gonna have to drop off.
No problem.
All right, I'll talk to you a little bit.
Bye, Eric.
Talk to you at 1. Okay, do we just get off this call till 1 and then?
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
talk to you guys. Let's
Yeah.
get it.
Valerie, I added those items to the log, so they're in there. So they'll pop up right in your meeting.
Okay, perfect. So things we need to bring up with next space is the single geometry multiple records issue for the carrier fiber routes, the multi-polyline versus multi-polygon, and do we need to bring up the database upload issue, Peter, sorry.
Yeah, bring it up. I don't think it's gonna hurt the conversation.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I wasn't too exactly covered on or focused on what you and Eric were saying the issue was with the upload. Could you give me a quick recap of what the issue was? You said it was.
You mean for the fiber route upload?
I guess for the Florida region. The one he was just trying to upload, and you said it didn't.
Oh yeah. He missed a single step. Instead of adding, okay, if the record doesn't exist or the entity doesn't exist, you just do an update. If it's already there and you need to append it, then add.
View it.
He added because the reason why he added because it doesn't exist. So the record was never gonna be.
Okay, so there's no issue then. You just forgot us that.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So we don't bring that up. Okay, thank you so much, you guys. I will talk to you and the other call then, I guess.
Okay.
Okay. Talk to you at 1. Bye.
Later.
Bye.
So my personal